groovy.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Jim here with another pickups video, and as you can see, I've got everything right here in front of me because I am especially lazy today. I don't want to do any editing, so it's gonna be a one-shot deal because I'm on an extended break from school and I've been getting extremely lazy. I blame a lot of that on Uber Eats. I don't even have to leave the comfort of my own apartment if I want some kebab or steak. I can literally order like a $50 steak and have it delivered to my door so I can sit here and eat my $50 steak with my plastic utensils, which is like... Anyway, Uber Eats, my laziness sits squarely upon your shoulders. So tonight though, I also have a little bit of drinky, again, extended break. I actually won this in a raffle at 7-Eleven. They were giving away free booze. So what I have here is some Beefeater, which is a brand of gin, apparently made in London, because it has London printed on there. I mean, I can't confirm or deny that. Maybe it's just, hey, was founded in London and now it's made, you know, who the hell knows where. Anyway, it's a bottle of gin and tonic. And again, I won this free in a raffle, and it's been sitting in my fridge for a while. So I figure, might as well drink it. I'm not adverse to gin, so we can kick this pickups video off by trying out this Beefeater bottled gin and tonic. And it's not bad. That's pretty tasty, actually. Not bad. We got the lemon and lime in there. Alright, Beefeater bottled gin and tonic. It ain't half bad. Okay. The actual purpose of this video games that I picked up. Actually, I'll start with these two things. These aren't video games. These are two video game soundtracks. And first up, I got the Dino Crisis soundtrack, which, in retrospect, I have no idea why. I really like the game Dino Crisis. Nothing at all memorable on the soundtrack, though. This is literally just like ambient music you would hear like roaming the halls or something, or if you get attacked by a dinosaur, there's some more like heart-pounding horror music. But I got the Dino Crisis soundtrack because it was like $5, and I have no idea what I'm gonna do with this. I'm never gonna listen to this thing. But there it is, Dino Crisis soundtrack. This, on the other hand, I have been listening to because it's an awesome soundtrack. It's Persona 5. And how many discs does this bad boy have? I think it has 2. One, and this very nice little booklet it came with. This was probably bundled with special editions of the game or something, I'm guessing. 3. So a 3-disc soundtrack for Persona 5, and this cool little like spine card thing that came with it. So that's very cool. All of the Persona games have really great soundtracks. I like the music in 3, 4, 5, basically anything in this universe. Catherine as well. Catherine has an awesome soundtrack. So yeah, the Persona 5 soundtrack, and this also wasn't very expensive. I think I spent about $10 on this. It was at a book off, so I was happy to pick that up. Persona 5 soundtrack. Okay, moving on, we'll start with these nice little Famicom games I got here. Excuse me, it's the gin. Might be more belching than usual in this pickups video. First up, got a copy of the original Mario Brothers. And I like this game. Very simple, just Mario and Luigi running around the sewers, trying to, you know, everyone ever has played this game. You bop the little turtles and crabs and things from underneath, and then you knock them off the screen. Little fireballs come along, and you can collect coins and whatever. Very fun. I like these early games in the Mario series when, you know, they're just like playing with different ideas and it's evolving into what would eventually be Super Mario. So I like this, and I like, you know, Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. and, you know, just the early Nintendo arcade games ported over to the Famicom very faithfully. So Mario Brothers, very cool, by Namco. It's a copy of Xevious, and Really great game. A top-down shooter, and you can also drop bombs, kind of like Twinbee. Like you have a little cursor in front of your ship to drop bombs on things below you, and just, yeah, really simple, straightforward, old-school shooter. And more recently, I've been getting into more, you know, old shooters like this this, and Star Force, and the original Star Soldier, games like that. You know, early 80s shoot 'em ups. I'm been enjoying a lot more lately. I like how just simple, straightforward they are, challenging. Just rack up a high score. That's fun. So Xevious, awesome little shooter by Namco. Happy to have that. And another awesome shooter by Sega, actually published by Sunsoft though, this version. It is Fantasy Zone. And Fantasy Zone is pretty damn cool. I think I've only played this version, and I think I've played the Mega Drive version. I do not own the Mega Drive version, but I do believe I have played it. I like Fantasy Zone. It's fun. It's colorful. I like that it's not your typical shooter. You can kind of just fly and roam around the screen, kill enemies, blow up the little, whatever they're called, like the little bases, little floating, the big enemies, whatever the hell they are. You got to blow those up before you can get to the boss, and you go to the shop and buy power-ups from the shop, and it's all about just like collecting coins and blowing up enemies, and it's fun and it's addictive. Classic Sega shoot 'em up, but again published by Sunsoft for whatever reason on the Famicom. But anyway, Fantasy Zone, very cool game. I like it a lot, and I'm very happy to have this nice, handsome boxed copy for my Famicom. So there is that. Moving on, we got some Super Famicom games here. This one I picked up because I'm wanting to put together a video on 16-bit beat-em-ups, in particular my favorites, like my top 10. And this I picked up just because I had played it a lot, like a long time ago, and then I hadn't played it since. Like I sold it like over 3 or 4 years ago when I was in Texas, and wanted to pick it up again because I remember liking it a lot. It's Sonic Blast Man 2, and the original, not really a very good game. It plays very, very slowly, and I believe it's just a one-player game as well. This one is multiplayer. It plays a lot faster. You have 3 characters to choose from, and they have, you know, standard attacks and heavy attacks, and then you can charge up and do a couple of different types of super attacks. But the most important thing is it just plays a lot better than the original, and it plays a lot faster, so you can tuck and roll, and you can dash, and you can do dashing attacks and dashing jumping attacks, and just a lot more depth in this game than there was in the original, and it's a lot more fun. And as far as 16-bit beat-em-ups go, I wouldn't put this in the same tier as like Turtles in Time or Streets of Rage, but I would say it is definitely an above-average beat-em-up for this generation. Like, it's definitely a lot better than like Rival Turf and stuff like that, the more like generic, shitty Final Fight knockoff beat-em-ups. This one is definitely better than that, definitely above average. Sonic Blast Man 2. I like that a lot. This game, this is a reproduction of a Super Famicom game that is extremely expensive, like one of the most rare and expensive Super Famicom games. So this company, Soft Garage, I guess? Yeah, Soft Garage. They went ahead and started making these reproductions of this game, Moduo. So it comes in this box, although the box itself, not so sturdy. Like shortly after I got it, it started to like come unglued on the side. So the quality of the box is not great. But the quality, and I'll go ahead and open it up here. The cardboard is quite thin, but the quality of the actual contents inside, like here's the manual. Manual doesn't look too bad, and it's made of you know, pretty sturdy paper. And then this is cool. The cartridge is black, which I thought was a nice touch. And unlike the oh, what the hell, like Shibiba Man Zero, and I forgot what the hell this game's even called. Unholy Knight, that unholy piece of shit game. Unlike those, this cartridge actually fits correctly into the slot. Those take some finagling. But Moduo, the game itself is pretty cool. It's a side-scrolling action platformer, and you can turn into monsters and things. And there's some pretty cool visuals and some blood and guts and monsters and Just neat stuff like that. So I'm glad I just picked up a reproduction of it. This was about like 30 bucks, I think. And the actual original copy of this game will run you hundreds of dollars. So I'm glad that it's a good game. It's a decent game, but it's not like anything I would really, be willing to pay hundreds of dollars for. So I'm glad I picked up this cool little repro, and I'm happy with that. Moduo, pretty cool. Next up, we have Hoshino Kirby Super Deluxe. And what this is Kirby Superstar, I believe it's called in the US. It's just a whole bunch of different smaller Kirby games crammed into this one cartridge. It's 6 games. So 6 smaller Kirby games in one cartridge. So some of the games on here feel more like mini games, while others, it feels like a more fleshed out, like a more just a full Kirby game. But I'm a sucker for anything Kirby. I really like Kirby, actually. Anything on the Famicom or Super Famicom, like the one where it's like, what is it, like golf? Like you're batting Kirby around, trying to get him into, like, it's like Kirby mini golf. I even like that. And Kirby Pinball, just slap Kirby on anything, and I'll probably buy it and play it. But Hoshino Kirby Super Deluxe, aka Kirby Superstar, pretty damn good game. Happy to have that. And these 2 games, I've owned these games and sold these games and then rebought them because I recently did my top 10 Super Famicom game list left in Japan. So I wanted to pick these games up again because I knew I was going to be including them in that list. But first up, Gundam Wing Endless Duel. I sold this game the last time I was in Texas and regretted it almost immediately because I love this game. One of my favorite 2D fighters on the Super Famicom. It is made by Natsume. Has a lot in common with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Fighting Edition game that they made. Has a lot in common with that, but I would say the graphics are better. The sound design is better. The soundtrack in this game is like just amazing. One of the best 16-bit soundtracks. And the gameplay is just like outstanding. Like as far as like any 2D fighter on the Super Nintendo Super Famicom goes, I wouldn't say it's like as good as Street Fighter 2, but it's just under that. It's definitely, aside from Street Fighter 2, Killer Instinct, and maybe like Mortal Kombat 2, underneath those, this would probably be like my next favorite fighting game on the Super Famicom and SNES. Gundam Wing Endless Duel, if you've never played it, I would recommend you do. It's a very fun 2D fighting game. Again, amazing graphics and sound. And Gundams, man. Huge robots fighting. Can't go wrong with that. Endless Duel, amazing game. I need a drink. That's good. That hits the spot. And then this one, love it. Have almost every game in this series. I think I still need the first one. But this is The Great Battle 5. Which, again, if you saw the top 10 list I did, you've seen this game and you've heard what I've had to say about it. It's awesome. You have Chibi Gundam and Ultraman and Kamen Rider. Part of the gameplay is just like wild guns, so it's like a shooting gallery with your little Gundam, he's got like I think the Gundam has a shotgun, and I think Kamen Rider has like a 6-shooter, and Ultraman has some other, I don't know, they all have different guns, but basically it plays just like wild guns in those segments, and the other segments are a 2D platformer, and they play really well. So nothing bad to say about this game. The graphics are awesome. I love all the character designs. The soundtrack is really good, and the gameplay is super fun. Both of the shooting segments and the platforming segments, it's all really well done. So this is really, truly like one of the better games that didn't get released outside of Japan. This whole series actually is really cool. And I had to kind of think about it between this one and Part 4, which one was my favorite, but I had to go with this one just because this is cowboys, and it's Cowboy Gundam, and you can't go wrong with that. Anyway, Great Battle 5, awesome game, happy to have that back in the collection, and this nice, awesome, complete copy, not the loose copy that I had several years ago. This game is awesome. Great Battle 5. Okay, I got some stuff over here. I think I'm gonna go with the PS2 games first, though. I got a few of them. They were all really cheap, and I was really happy to pick these up. First up, we have Cyber Formula Road to the Infinity 4. A really long time ago, well, not a really, I would say a couple of years ago, I did a review of a Cyber Formula game for the GameCube, and I liked it a lot. These are racing games where your cars can kind of transform to have like different like stats for the car. So like it'll have a certain form that is like more built for speed, and then another form that's more built for handling, and so you can swap back and forth between the two forms depending on how many twists and turns the track takes versus, you know, when you're in a straightaway you want to go to your faster form. And then each car has like boosters and other special things it can do. So these are good, these Cyber Formula games. I've only played two, this one and the one on the GameCube, but they're very fun arcade style racers. I'd recommend playing them if you like other kind of like more futuristic-y type racing games, stuff like F-Zero and Wipeout, things like that. Although there's no actual combat in this game, but it is kind of similar to that, like just this like ridiculously fast futuristic racing games. These Cyber Formula games are really great for that. So Cyber Formula Road to the Infinity 4 on the PS2, great game. Picked it up for about it was either $2 or $5, and I couldn't go wrong with that. Next up, maybe my favorite game in the Tekken series, just like from a nostalgia standpoint. Between this and 3, you know, those are the two I played the most as a kid, but this is Tekken 5. I love Tekken 5. I played this game so much as a teen, and we used to have little kind of like Tekken tournaments at my house when I was a kid. My friends would come over, there'd be about 4 or 5 of us, and we'd all sit around passing the controllers around on Tekken 5, just trying to be like, it was like winner stays on. The first person to 30 wins or 50 wins or something was like champion of the night or something like that. So we would just play Tekken 5 for hours and hours and hours, just endlessly. I tried to get Tekken Lord with like every character in this game for no apparent reason. There were no achievements or anything like that. I wasn't playing online. I just did it for love of the game. And Tekken 5, definitely a game I love a lot. Interesting story. I recently got to meet the guy. Well, he does a lot of different voices for different characters, but in particular in Tekken, he's the voice of Paul Phoenix. Ever since like Tekken 3, he's been doing the voice of Paul Phoenix. Really cool guy named Eric Kelso. Turns out he lives like one train station over from me, so I friended him on Facebook and invited him out for drinks. So we went out drinking, and actually, you know, bear with me. Actually, I have it here. Here's actually when he came to meet us. He was nice enough to bring this cool thing here. He signed a nice little. It's him with some of the Shenmue characters he plays. I forgot he gave this to me, but here you can see Fukusan, Guizhong, and Ren from Shenmue 2. So I got to meet this dude, Eric Kelso. He lives, you know, right here near me, and I thought that was pretty cool that aside from those Shenmue characters, he's also the voice of Paul Phoenix. He's the voice of Jackie Bryant in Virtua Fighter, and I think he's done Captain Falcon, and he's done like Bloody Roar and a bunch of other stuff. Anyway, that's like a total like aside that doesn't have anything to do with the pickups really, other than he's voices a character in this game. But Tekken 5, picked it up for about $5, and just sat home and played this game like all night the night I picked it up, and beat the arcade mode with like a half a dozen characters, and just started earning money to, you know, change their costumes up and stuff. Tekken 5, I said enough. Amazing game. And then this game, I had forgotten about this game pretty much entirely until it popped up on Metal Jesus. And I believe it was him and Reggie talking about this game, and then all of a sudden I started seeing it pop up in retro gaming groups that I'm in on Facebook. People were sharing listings on like eBay for this game, and the prices were like, it was like $100 a copy or something like that, and people were like, see, I told you, it's all these YouTube guys, they're screwing us. Well, you know, I don't know if that's necessarily the case or not. Here in Japan though, this game, still a $5 game, Samurai Western. And this game is awesome. I wish I would have known how awesome it was beforehand. Who the hell made this? Spike made this. Okay, so Spike makes... I think they made mostly like wrestling games and stuff like that, but they branch out and do other things. I know they make the Fire Pro Wrestling series and a bunch of other games as well. But Samurai Western, very cool. Just a samurai dude running around in the Old West, cutting people up with his sword and like deflecting bullets, and just a cool soundtrack. Characters are really cool. It's my understanding that the character designer from Cowboy Bebop also did work on this game as well, as far as like the art direction. So that's very cool. So yeah, Samurai Western, very cool game. Again, picked it up for like $5. Still extremely cheap here. So people, if you get tired of prices fluctuating, you know, especially in the US, I'm saying consider imports. They're often much cheaper. Just bite the bullet, buy a Japanese PS2, and then boom, you can start picking up games like this for $5, and it's all good. Anyway, Samurai Western, I like it a lot, and so yeah, thanks for MJ and Reggie for bringing this game back up to my attention. As soon as I spotted it, I snatched it up. And lastly, we have this little stack of games in jewel cases. Ah, hits the spot. Okay. First up, the only Dreamcast game I picked up recently. Been wanting this one for a while. Could never find it for like anything less than like $100 or so. Found it in a book off for about $50. So I decided to go with that. It's Napple Tale. And Napple Tale, what it is, well, it's a lot of things. I mean, the bulk of the gameplay is it's a 2.5D platformer, and a very good one at that. But there's also exploration to be done and items to be collected, and you have like a hub town, like a main town. You go in and you help people out, and there are different gates leading from the town to different areas that have the stages that you have to complete to restore things in the town. And I believe you're in like the afterlife, something to that effect. I'm going to put a link actually in the description to Jimmy Hoppa's review of this game, because it's really good. I feel like I'm not doing it much justice just talking about it. But Napple Tale, it's a very fun game. Really great graphics, really amazing sound design, great soundtrack. And I like it a lot, and I'm really happy I picked it up. And again, go and check out Jimmy's review of this, because it's a really good review for a really good game. Napple Tale on the Dreamcast. And the rest of these are PC Engine games. On HuCard, I've been wanting this game for quite a long time. Finally found a copy that was reasonably priced, and there wasn't anything I really wanted ahead of it when I found it. So this is Gunhead, aka Blazing Lasers. I love this game. I love compile shooters in general. I've never played a compile shooter I didn't like. So I knew I wanted Blazing Lasers. I've seen reviews of it and gameplay, and just for whatever reason, I myself had never picked up a copy. So got myself a copy of Gunhead. Took it home, started playing it, just immediately loved it. It actually kind of reminds me a bit of, I want to say, like some of the Hudson Soft shooters, like Superstar Soldier and Final Soldier. Gameplay is kind of similar, except it has like the Aleste power-up system, where you have like the orbs that like they have different numbers on them. So depending on what number you pick, that changes up your weapon, and you can power it up from there. And you get super bombs and sub weapons and all kinds of stuff. And it's just like fast and challenging and fun. And the graphics are awesome, and the soundtrack is amazing. And I don't know what else to say. Gunhead, aka Blazing Lasers, on the PC Engine. This is an amazing shooter. Definitely play it if you get the chance. I need my gin and tonic here. Throat's getting dry. Probably because of the gin and tonic. But I'm going to keep drinking it, because what can I say? You don't open a bottle of gin and tonic and not finish it. It's bad manners. Okay. 2 games for the PC Engine. CD. First up, another game originally made by Compile, actually, but this one published by NEC Avenue. It's a Puyo Puyo CD. And I don't have to say a whole lot about this because it's basically just the original Puyo Puyo. But I do love this game, and I love this game series. Just classic puzzle game, eventually repackaged as Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. And is it also Kirby's Avalanche? Like, are they both just reskins of Puyo Puyo? I don't know. But Puyo Puyo CD, I found it and it was like $5, and it wasn't even in like a book off or anything. It was like, I think it was in Trader. I was looking through PC Engine games and I came across this for like $5, and I was like, hell yeah. $5 for Puyo Puyo, sign me up. So Puyo Puyo CD, just another great game in this series. Happy to have it. And finally, this game I've been wanting for like a long time. But every time I come across it, it was like way too expensive, or I would find like a sealed copy and they wanted like, I don't know how many hundreds of dollars for it. Ugh, pardon me. That's something you only get here, folks. How many other people drink gin and belch in their pickups videos? It's this guy. That's why you're here. But I've been wanting this game for a really long time. Could never find it for a decent price. Finally found it for a price I could tolerate, and just had to have it. It is the PC Engine CD version of Double Dragon 2, and yeah, just so happy to finally have this in my collection. I'm a big Double Dragon fan. I love the first couple of games on the NES, and I love Super Double Dragon as well on the SNES. And this one, I just knew I wanted it because it's not a port of the arcade game. It's a port of the NES game. So all of the stages and everything, it's all just like the NES, except the graphics are like much better. Obviously, this being a much more powerful system, I guess, and being on CD, they're like cool cutscenes, and the gameplay is nice and smooth. And the soundtrack is bumped up because, again, it's on CD. Just basically everything I like about Double Dragon 2. This game just takes it and kicks it up a notch. Basically the same thing like what they did with River City Ransom. They ported that to PC Engine CD, and the results were awesome because it's still River City Ransom. It's just the graphics are better, the sound quality is much better, there are little cutscenes and voice acting and all that. Same thing here. Double Dragon 2 on the PC Engine CD. It's awesome. Definitely the best of any beat-em-up I've played on the PC Engine so far. Haven't played that many. I would say I played probably about like half a dozen beat-em-ups on the PC Engine CD, and this one is definitely the best. Again, Double Dragon 2, The Revenge on PC Engine CD. What an amazing game. So happy to have it. And that's it, folks. We got through it, and I'm not gonna have to do much editing on this one. So I'm gonna load it in there, and it's all good to go. I might have to. I don't know if I'm gonna cut out the segments where I'm like drinking and belching and coughing. Probably not, because again, I'm especially lazy right now, and I'm on vacation, so I don't have to do anything I don't want to. Plus, I'm gonna finish drinking this. I'm gonna keep drinking some other stuff too. And I'll probably be editing this video while I'm drinking, so I'll just forget. Even if I want to cut out all those little things, I'll probably just forget. Don't be like me, people. Don't drink and edit. Sometimes the results are really bad, but I don't care. Vacation time, baby. So there you go. Those are my pickups, ladies and gentlemen. If you saw anything you especially liked in this video, let me know down in the comments. If there's anything you'd like to see more in-depth coverage of, maybe a full review, just let me know down in the comments, and I'll try to work that into the schedule. And that's it. Everybody, thanks for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, all those great things that you do. And we end the video on a huge cough. Thanks, everybody. Take care. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.